Circus Sportsbook, dinner with Marco, Las Vegas, Chris, Dan, our producer, Dave Sherapan, just a ton of people at dinner. I haven't stopped. And the show today, I wanted to be on the show today. Hopefully, my audio and everything is fine. We're having some issues with Buster, and we hope we can get him on at some point during this show, or we'll bring him on tomorrow if he can come on tomorrow. But Andrew, I got to watch a lot of games in Circa last night. I don't know what the heck is going on with the Buffalo Sabres. They continue to win. I think Tampa, we're going to talk about Tampa shortly. They tried to slip one by the Sabres by putting Elliott in net yesterday. It didn't go well for them. Ovechkin continues to score. That guy is just unbelievable. They went from blowing a lead to winning that game easily. And you know, the thing that we've grown accustomed to, and it is happening all year long thus far, early in the season, the Toronto Maple Leafs lose another one. That team, I'm not really sure what is wrong with that team. I'll tell you this, Andrew. I talked to a few people about this game yesterday. I did not play it. The price on Carolina was so attractive at about minus 115 that I actually thought it was a trap. I thought bookmakers wanted you to bet Carolina to get some action. Figuring the Leafs would put in a good one. They didn't. Carolina Hurricane got that easy win there. Andrew, before I throw it back to you, we're still trying to get Buster on there. I notice you have a 5% play up in the NHL tonight, so I want to wish you the best of luck for that. And I'm going to put out a coupon. I am going to put a coupon code out there for you guys. Coupon code AM7DAY. AM7DAY. You can get 7 days all access for Andrew McInnis. Normally $119. You get it for $69 at checkout. Use coupon code AM7DAY. Hello to all the guys in the chat. And Andrew, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Carmine. I appreciate it. Really looking forward to that 5% play tonight. It's a situation I've looked for a long time, and 67% winners on 5% plays dating back to November of 2019. So really looking forward to tonight's 5% play. And Carm just shows commitment, man. Happy to have you, and it was a great recap of those games. So I won't do it either. I will say, full transparency, I had the over as a best bet in the Leafs and Hurricanes game. Although the expected goals continue to pile up for them, expected goals are one thing, but you have to put them in the net. Carolina takes that game 4-1, and the over is a loser. So I'll try and bounce back today with that 5% play over at WagerTalk. It is $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo and WagerTalk. We have JM Sports at Sports Memo, and we have Mr. Steve Merrill at WagerTalk. You can grab his best bet for just $2. Today's games we are discussing, we have the Bolts and the Pens, the Avalanche and the Knights, the Wild and the Canucks, and the Canadiens head to the West Coast, Carm, and they take on the Seattle Kraken in the Kraken's second game at home. Let's dive into our first game here. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning. We just spoke about them. They're minus 130 favorites on the road against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are plus 110 at home. The total sits at 5.5 in this contest. And well, Carm, let's put it this way. Let's be completely blunt with this. I'm always someone that says that when you have players out, a team usually rallies around that roster. But not this many players out. I mean, it's one thing to have Crosby out, one thing to have Malkin out, but this Pittsburgh Penguins team had half of their roster out, or half of their key players out, and they were able to put up 7 goals on the board against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it just goes to show, number one, that, if you're on an NHL roster, you deserve to be there and you have the talent. Number two, Pittsburgh wanted it more. It seemed like a perfect bet on spot here in that spot for Toronto. Pittsburgh said, not so fast. Hey, we've got good depth. We've got good reserve players. We can step in and win. And then you've got Tampa, a historic good team off a loss for the past several years, in what I would call a very generous price based off how the Pittsburgh Penguins have played so far this year. I'm looking at this Tampa Bay Lightning team. I expect a bounce back from them, Carm. I feel like they took your Sabres and just kind of took them for granted, and I expected them to roll in there. Tampa Bay has played a lot of fierce competition lately, and yesterday should have been their spot to get it going against the Buffalo Sabres team. But looking at the back-to-back, I'm back in the Tampa Bay Lightning here. And I heard a quote from Jason Spezza, player on the Maple Leafs. This is a post-game message, Carm. He said, you guys all read way too much into these back-to-back situations. It's early in the season. He goes, we only care about that, and it only affects us maybe late in the year. I'm not worried about the back-to-back. I'm taking the Lightning here on the money line.
Yeah, I can't fault you there, Andrew. You know, you look at this game, and we talked about it. Tampa Bay started Elliott in net tonight. They figured yesterday they figured they could use Vasilevsky in the back-to-back in the better spot, but it didn't work. They also didn't they didn't compete. If you watch that game, Buffalo was the better team. It feels weird even saying this. Tampa just hasn't gotten it going this year. You know, you look at their games. You know, they opened the season up with their, the banner raising game against Pittsburgh, lose that game 6-2. That score line doesn't really tell you a lot of what happened because there was like 5 goals with the net empty in that game. So there was a lot that went on. And then the miracle comeback against the Detroit Red Wings, where I think they were down 5-1 at one point in the third period, if my memory serves me correct. They get a win against Washington, but look, they're playing good teams, but they're just not getting the results. Florida Panthers, probably the best team right now in the NHL. And then they get the Colorado Avalanche, who needed a win. So it sounds like I'm making excuses for Tampa, but I'm really not. Sometimes it is that hangover from winning a Stanley Cup. Your first couple weeks of the season, you just don't get it going. The team will be right. They'll be fine. They'll get their wins, and they very well will get the win tonight. I like them in this spot against a Pittsburgh team that comes off a big 7-1 win. And sometimes when you blow a team out, the next game, you have trouble getting back into that game mentality where you play a very good defensive game, sort of like what they did against the Dallas Stars. They're still missing players in this lineup. I just think this is one of those games where what I expected to happen in the first game of the season when these two teams met in Tampa is what I expect to happen tonight, where the better team, which I think is Tampa, gets the win, and Pittsburgh is still missing a good part of their scoring, but they're still getting the job done anyways. With 3 wins, they haven't lost in regulation time yet. Their 2 losses came in OT to the Florida Panthers and the Dallas Stars. So for me, it's got to be the Bolts here, Andrew.
All right, Carmen and I both on the same page in this one. Looking for a bounce back game out of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And yeah, it's not just Crosby out. It's not just Malkin out. I mean, you've got Letang, you've got Rust, you've got Jeff Carter. So many guys are out for this Pittsburgh team. They rallied without those players in their first game. I do not think they will do it again in this one. Let's keep on going here, piling through these games. The Avalanche and the Golden Knights go head-to-head. Colorado minus 180 here at home. Vegas plus 150 on the road. Total sits at 6 in this game. And, I'll say one thing. This Colorado Avalanche team, the schedule makers were not kind to them, Carmine. And it's been interesting to take a look so far in the season and kind of just check out how each team's schedule has panned out, whether it's been lots of road games, lots of home games, playing weaker teams, playing very highly skilled teams. And it seems like with the Colorado Avalanche, well, the schedule for them wasn't, too easy start out this year. They played some very tough teams. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, they're on the road right now. It's been very clear that those injuries to their team are really, really affecting them. It seems like it's been tough for them. They've actually had, a tough time finding the back of the net. And they've even come out and said it in the post-game pressers. Peter DeBoer has said, we have to find a way to contribute, when we're not having these key guys in the lineup. Now, the question for me here is that I don't want to look at the minus 180. I can't use that number here. Plus 150, I don't really want to back Vegas right now. I look at Colorado as an over team on a large scale here, guys. But in particular, in this game at home, I look for Colorado to try and take care of the puck better, play a better defensive game in their own end, give their goaltender a solid chance, at seeing the puck and taking care of things that way, having solid zone exits. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're better off right now battling along the boards and having a tight checking game until they get their roster fully healthy. My play in this game, Carm, is the under when the Vegas Golden Knights visit Colorado.
Yeah, Andrew, and mine is probably going to be a lot shorter than yours because I would just be echoing so many of the thoughts that you have on this. If you guys go back to last week's show, when we looked at the game between the St. Louis Blues and the Vegas Golden Knights, I talked about the fact that the Blues were going to be a tough game for Vegas in that one, and they would likely leave the West Coast and head back home for their home opener with a 3-0 record. And the fact that with the injuries to this Vegas team with Tuck and Stone and Pacioretty out, that the Vegas faced 4 games where they could very well lose all 4 games. The Blues, the Edmonton Oilers, and the New York Islanders. And we're 3 games into that 4-game span that I talked about, and Vegas has lost each and every one of those games, and now they got to go to Colorado, who returned from a home trip. 2 tough games, obviously, actually 3 tough games. You look at it, Washington, that team just can't stop scoring, and then the Florida Panthers, and then finally getting a win in Tampa Bay. They're a team screaming for a win, a team that needs a win. And this is probably where you want to get that win against a Vegas team that's hurting. Vegas is going to come out and compete tonight. They're not going to go into Colorado and roll over. That's just not the makeup of this team. That's just not the way they are. It's just right now, teams they string some losses together. It's early in the season. I saw some of you guys in the chat before we got going talking about, the first couple of weeks have been rough on you guys. I think it's been rough on everyone. You look at the standings that are up there on the screen, and it feels like the bizarro world, other than 2 or 3 of those teams at the top. You got the Buffalo Sabres winning games. The only semblance of normalcy that we see is the Arizona Coyotes, who are the best fate, I think, in the NHL, are losing games. But Colorado and Vegas being towards the bottom of the West standings, that's not going to stay like that, guys. The wins will come. We're looking at, I think the problem is we're looking at the first 2 weeks of the NHL season, and we're wearing the mid-season goggles. You expect teams that are good to be winning from the onset, right off the bat. It's not happening. So you figure, okay, well, they're going to win the next game. And all of a sudden that 2 or 3 or 4 game streak puts you in a hole. Just stay with it, guys. Watch these teams. The streaks will come. Tampa will get better. Colorado will get better. Vegas will get better. And you guys will start to win. But these are tough ones. I expect a good game tonight. I can't lay the $1.80, Andrew. I'll tell you the same thing.
No.
I can't. You can take a -1 in regulation time, and if it ends a 1 goal, you push that bet. But I never lay that type of price. You can take a puck line, but again, I still expect Vegas to compete tonight in this game. So maybe a regulation time bet where you're paying about $1.15 in the juice with the Avs might be the way to go. I really don't have a read on the total in this game.
Great stuff, Carm. I agree with a lot of what you just said there. And to build off what you said, I think that as much as that variance is going to come and these skilled teams are going to start winning games, it's also important that everybody realize what they're doing and what's happening in the standings. And some of these bad teams are playing well. So maybe, don't go against Buffalo in every spot possible because they are playing decent hockey right now. Or the San Jose Sharks. Wait till they start losing some games, so on and so forth. Wait till these things start to level themselves out. Guys, I want to give out a special coupon code for Carmine, actually. Vegas 39. Vegas 39 gets you 3 days from Carmine all sports action for the price of one. $39. Vegas 39. You can use that at wt.buzz/CB. Vegas 39. Use that coupon code for Mr. Bianco while he is in Sin City. Our next game, we have the Vancouver Canucks at home for the first time this season. They're hosting the Minnesota Wild. The Wild are -120. The Canucks are +100 here. Total is at 5.5. And, I kind of want to compare this game, Carm, to the game we saw yesterday between the Calgary Flames and the New York Rangers. And the reason why I'm kind of comparing it that way is because it's a little bit of the same spot play as far as the travel goes. I thought yesterday was a really bad spot for the Rangers. And my show best bet was on the over in that game because I felt like there'd be some fatigue. Now we've got Vancouver. They opened their season off on a 6-game road trip. This is their first game home. They'll have the home opener. Crowd will be there excited. The team's going to be pretty good this year. They split their road trip. They went 3-3. Minnesota Wild, though, I feel like they're going to come in here hungry. I mean, they were 4-0 to start the season off. All four of those games, they had to come back in. They didn't score the first goal in. And then they have a huge flat spot against the Nashville Predators team that flew from Winnipeg to Minnesota and absolutely destroyed them. Got off to a 3-0 start. It seems to me like Minnesota, this is the bet on spot here for the road team and to kind of fade this team in Vancouver off that long road trip. First game back is always a touchy spot for me, Carm, whether it's NHL or NBA. These guys have lives just like you and I do. And first game might not have as much focus as the next one at home.
Yeah, again, echoing your thoughts, I look at this game and, I talked about Vancouver during like the first week of the season. I thought, they could be a bet on team when you're getting some good plus money on them, some good plus money on them, not the short prices. And, they went into Philadelphia after losing to Edmonton in OT. They beat Philadelphia there. And then you think they have a couple gimmies in Detroit and the Sabres, but a couple of losses there, 3-1 and 5-2. Then you look at they get wins over Chicago and the Seattle Kraken to end that road trip. That wasn't, in hindsight, you look at the teams that they played, and that wasn't a tough, other than maybe Philadelphia, who seems to be playing well. That wasn't a tough road trip at all. They could have picked up even more wins. They probably, the Sabre one, maybe the Detroit one, the Blackhawks are a total disaster at the moment. We'll probably talk about that on another show. But they now return home. I don't want to start using that angle because it's way too early in the season of the first game back off a 4 or 5 or 6 game road trip. They're back. They've had a couple days to get their legs, but I think we see some scoring tonight. This Wild team can score goals. As you said, Andrew, that was a bad game against the Predators. I think this one likely turns into one of those goal fests where we see like a 4-3 type game or 5-3 type game. So I wouldn't lean to the side here, but I'd like to look at the total here, and I'll probably put that up as a free play as well on WagerTalk a little later on today.
Yeah, definitely should be a very exciting game to watch nonetheless. And guys, once again, we apologize for starting late today. For those of you guys watching live, thank you for being here. If you're watching afterwards on the archived, thank you for watching. Make sure you leave a like or comment on this video. And a reminder to all of you guys, we are on podcast form as well. Everywhere you can find a podcast, you can listen to us on the road or on the go. Every single podcast network, you can find us right there with the WagerTalk Podcast Network. All right, guys, our last game, we have the Habs on the road in a road trip here out to the West Coast, taking on the Seattle Kraken. Kraken are minus 125 at home. Montreal plus 105. Short dogs. Total is at 5.5. Carm, I'll go to you first, man. I'll save my thoughts on my Habs for last here, buddy.
It must have been. Listen, it's probably the fact that you and your lovely girlfriend got a puppy, and you named it Henry after Henry the Rocket Richard, and maybe that got the Montreal Canadiens to their first win, although it was the Detroit Red Wings you guys beat. But I'm glad you guys got off the schneid and got your first win. This could very well be win number 2, because we all know the same way losses can build up and build momentum. Sometimes that first win takes the monkey off a team's back, and they play so much better after that. And they could string some wins together. This is probably one where they can do it against the Kraken. The Kraken came out in that first game, of their inaugural season and played the Vegas Golden Knights tough before losing in the third period. And then they get a win against the Nashville Predators. But since then, it's like I said, a loss and a second loss, and the mood in that dressing room kind of changes. And now we're at 4 losses for this Kraken team, and it very well could be 5 tonight. If Buster was here, I'm sure he would echo the thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens tonight. We'll have a best bet from Buster at the end of the show. But we couldn't get the audio problems fixed. So we apologize for not having Buster on today. Andrew, for me, I can't take the Kraken tonight. So give me the Montreal Canadiens. at a short price.
I love it, Carm. I love it. You're going to be in Vegas cheering on my Canadiens. We'll have to get Sherapan to give you one of his many hats. I'm sure he has a Montreal Canadiens hat somewhere in his closet. And we can get you going and get you a big Montreal fan, even though your Buffalo Sabres are actually off to a pretty good start. But I'd be happy for you to make the switch, Carm. You're always welcome on the Canadian side. I'm sticking with the over in this game. I'm rolling with a total. I'm staying off the side. Kraken are in their second home game. They're going to want to put forward a good effort again for their team or for their crowd. And, you talk about the monkey off your back. I think the monkey off their back is for scoring, not even just the win, but getting pucks to the net. Mike Hoffman scored. Matthew Perreault had a hat trick. He's down there in the third line. We saw some names that haven't really done much so far this season get involved. And I feel like that's really good for the Montreal Canadiens because their identity to their team has never been having one or two players score goals. It's always been having depth. But I still am a little worried about their defense. Their defensive core, I think they're still a little bit sloppy. They're still missing Joel Edmondson back there on the blue line. And I just don't trust a lot of these, got the forwards to back check completely still yet, as they're still figuring out the systems under Dominic Ducharme. And Seattle plays with a lot of pace. And Philip Grubauer, he's a great goaltender, but he's realizing what happens when you don't have a Colorado Avalanche team in front of you. It's a little bit different, and times have changed for him. So he's getting a lot more, shots against him and dangerous opportunities. So I'm on the over 5.5 between the Kraken and the Canadiens in the Canadiens' first game of their road trip. We're going to get into best bets on the show. I want to remind you guys, I do have a 5% play up at wagertalk.com. You can check that out. Also, it's $2 Tuesday at both Sports Memo and WagerTalk. Hottest handicappers, best plays for only $2. Carm, what do you have up, man? I'm sure you've got some soccer up, NHL. What's going on for you?
Yeah, I have a couple client plays in soccer in Italy's Serie A. I'm heading down to the sports book once we are off the air to bet the games, as well as some of the games we mentioned tonight. I do have a 5% play up tomorrow in Italian Serie A soccer. That's $35, which makes the 3-day all access that we mentioned for $39 a great deal. So if you use the coupon code Vegas39, it'll get you $30 off that $69 price. You'll get the next 3 days of plays. I've got 3 NHL plays up, 2 soccer plays up as well too for today, and then of course the 5% play tomorrow in soccer. So it's a great deal, 3 days for $39 using Vegas 39. My best bet on the show is going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. We talked about it earlier. I think they took that game yesterday against the Buffalo Sabres a little lightly. A slight revenge spot here, if you want to use that, for losing that game at home 6-2 to start the season. Again, 3 Pittsburgh Penguin empty net goals, so that 6-2 scoreline is skewed, but the Pens were the better team in that game. But that final scoreline doesn't tell the true story of how close that game was. So I'll lay the $1.40 here. That's a game I'm going to head down to Circa and make a donation on. Hopefully, it's a donation that cashes for me, Andrew. I wish you the best of luck on your 5% play tonight as well too. Again, we'll have Buster's play up as well too for the best bets. We hope to have him back next Tuesday with all this audio stuff sorted out. So I apologize to you guys in the chat, but thanks for tuning in as well. Andrew?
Great stuff, Carm. Best of luck with your plays and enjoy the sports book, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. Happy to have you. I know you wouldn't leave me. You're in Vegas. You're up early. We're rocking and rolling here on Puck Time. I got to go with my best bet here. And my best bet is a game that we didn't mention on the show today. I'm looking at the Calgary Flames and the New Jersey Devils under a total of 6 here. This is a New Jersey Devils team that, when you saw Jack Hughes go out with an injury and you see how they play, they're actually a pretty skilled defensive team. They take care of things in their own end. They try to protect their end of the ice. Their zone exits are actually pretty smooth. I've been impressed with their defensemen so far this year. Scott Wedgwood starts for them. He'll be looking for a bounce-back game. And we have Dan Vlader starting for the Calgary Flames, a young goaltender that I expect his team to rally around. Albeit the Flames are in the second half of a back-to-back, I think they'll go back to their identity tonight, the Sutter way, and go back to a defensive style of hockey. So I'm on the under 6 Flames and Devils. And don't forget, guys, use that coupon code AM7day. Take 50% off my 7-day all access pass. Get it for just $69. Join me on my 5% NHL play tonight. 60% winners since November of 2019. Let's display the power plays on the screen here. I'll make sure we get Buster's play as well out there. Don Buster on Pittsburgh, first period, plus 110. Carmine, Tampa Bay, minus 140. And I have Calgary, New Jersey, under the total of 6. Thank you guys so much for watching. On behalf of Carmine, I'm Andrew, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay, we know that you might be sick of hearing about spooky good deals this Halloween weekend, but we've chosen this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to bring back one of our most popular specials. The WagerTalk Fill Your Cart is back. This Friday, October 29th, Saturday, October 30th, and Sunday, October 31st, you will get a 31% discount on everything you fit into your cart. Whether it's a daily package, a one-day all access, a 3, 7, or 30 package, a full season of college hoops, or a full 12 months from your favorite handicapper, you will save 31% with coupon Halloween31. You can fill your goodie bag as many times as you want until the clock strikes midnight on Sunday. Finish off October with this ghostly good deal and fill your cart wisely.